So you may be wondering how I got this lovely cat who's not in frame. Oh boy. Okay, so while she's cleaning herself, let me tell you the story of how I got her. One morning, or afternoon, knowing my sleeping habits, I woke up to a message from Trevor, my lovely boyfriend. Okay, maybe I will move this because we're getting a good shot here. Okay, there we go. Oh, come on! She straight up just saw me move my camera and walked off. What the heck? Well, that's the last you'll be seeing her for this whole video, I guess. Sorry. Instead of his usual good morning message to his girlfriend, he kind of dropped a bomb on me and straight up asked me, "Do you want a kitten?" And my first reaction was, "Babe, I am so sorry, but there's no way that I can have a cat in this household." And to anyone who may know me in real life, you'd know that my mom and dad, I guess, they do not like cats, like at all. They borderline hate cats, or at least hated cats. Take a shot every time I say cats. But in general, they did not want another pet, much less a cat. So I'm pretty sure I just texted him that. Then I thought about it, and a little part of my mind was saying, you should ask, just in case, just to see what would happen. Like, I'm 99% sure that they're just gonna laugh at my face and say, no, absolutely not. But I don't know, I just wanted to see, just in case. But even then, I wasn't even sure if I wanted a cat to begin with, because like I said in the beginning, I wasn't really the biggest cat person. Like, I love animals. I will cuddle your cat if I ever see it in your house, but I never thought it'd be very enjoyable to have my own. You know what I mean? I had a dog when I was growing up, and she was the sweetest thing, the cutest thing ever. Rip Daisy. But I was kind of sold on the, you know, the stereotypes of the cat, and decided that if I would even get another pet, it would be either a dog, a bunny, what else? A ferret, a rat. I want rats, okay? That's what I really wanted, but for sure that was not gonna happen. Not at my house anyway. I'm still holding out for the idea. I really want some rats, okay? But not a cat, you know? That's questionable decisions on my part. So before I asked my mom, I wanted to know how he even got this cat to begin with. And so he told me the very, very sad story. So a few days before the initial text from Trevor asking if I wanted a cat, Trevor's mom had heard like faint animal cries from her driveway before she went to work. And so obviously she had to go, so she couldn't really check it out. But it persisted. Like, then the next day she heard it again. And so I'm not quite sure how many days went by. I'm fairly sure it wasn't too long. But one day she ended up checking it out because she just kept hearing the meowing. And she, you know, started feeling a little concerned. And that's when she found 2 large crates, and inside each one of them there were 2 kittens. Now, mind you, it's been a few days. No food, no water, nothing. Like, they were just stuck in there, in their own feces, in their own pee, and they were literally just left to die. Because they were living in their own pee, 2 of the kittens ended up having like this really bad eye infection, well, in both eyes. I should clean my glasses, bro. I'm not sure where I left off, but yeah, 2 of them ended up having really bad eye infections. Of course, she ended up taking them to a local vet and had them like checked out. They had like a deworming medicine. They may have had some shot. I'm not sure. They may have been too young for that. So after the vet, she took them home, she cleaned them up, and just took care of them. Fun fact, Trevor's family, they're all cat people. So they already had 3 cats in the moment. So they couldn't keep the 4 kittens. Like, it wasn't gonna work. They'd have 4, 5, 6. They'd have 7 cats. Like, that is not a reasonable that is not a reasonable amount of cats to take care of in your own home. So that was out of the question. However, that's when Trevor texted me and asked me if I wanted to keep 1 or 2. I ended up checking Snapchat because he had sent me a ton of photos and videos of them, and oh my god, they were so cute and they were so tiny, like you could literally just... And I immediately thought to myself, yep, give it to me right now, give it to me, I want one, thank you. So you may be wondering, Rocio, how did you convince your cat-hating parents to let you keep a cat? Well, the first step, I made sure to compile a large gallery of pictures and videos to show my mom, because even though she doesn't love cats, I mean, you can't deny they're mad cute, right? Like, they're adorable. So if I have enough pictures and videos, maybe I can sway her like that. I also made sure to kind of like recite in my head how Trevor's mom found the cats to gain some sympathy points. So basically the way that I approached her was while she was watching TV, I came up to her and shoved my phone in front of her face. I was like, Mom, look, Trevor found some kittens, look at how cute they are. And so we went through the gallery and I was showing her all these things. And she was like, oh my god, like they're so cute, they're so tiny, oh my gosh, how did they find them? And so that's when I brought in the story, explained everything, really try to bring in the tears to really convince her, like, oh, these cats, they need help, we should maybe help them. And yeah, that's what I basically asked her. We could foster them, we don't have to keep them, okay? We don't have to keep them. Just have them for a little bit. We find a home for them, and then they're out of our hands. Easy. And she actually really liked that idea. And I don't know whether it was the pandemic and we were all just shut in our homes, very lonely. But I think she really, you know, she wanted to have a kitten as an experience, just for a little bit, temporary. Remember that word, temporary. So I told Trevor the exciting news, saying that, yeah, we can foster a kitten, just, you know, we're not gonna keep her. Oh, I forgot to mention, he showed us like all the kittens, and my mom and I were like, oh, that's the one. This one right here, that one, yes, that's the one we want. And we asked like, hey, do you already have the cats named? And he said, yeah, like, blah, 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 blah. I don't remember the names. But the important part is that the cat I wanted was called Evie. And he told me that I had made like a great choice because she was the most playful, a little bit rambunctious, but I was kind of fine with that. Because, you know, I wanted like a fun cat. I didn't want like a boring, just sleeping around all day kind of cat who hated me or something. Like, I wanted a cat who is open to pets and open to cuddles. That was the goal. And apparently I had chosen the perfect one. After I had told him that we were just gonna foster the kitten, he said, okay, let me go ahead and tell my mom and ask if that's okay. He ended up texting us again saying, hey, my mom thinks that we should just keep her for now instead of having her rehomed and then just have you foster her and then have you rehome her again. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of traumatic for a cat to be separated from her siblings and then separated from the home that got her. So it made sense in my head, but when I told my mom, The disappointment and the sadness on her face, like, I was surprised. I honestly thought she would be like, oh, good, perfect, we don't have to deal with a cat now, awesome. But instead, she was like, oh, I mean, I guess we could keep her if you want. And girl, sold. Immediately, I texted Trevor and I was like, we are keeping the cat, don't worry about it, not fostering. I woke her up, I'm so sorry, Evie. We are not fostering her, we are keeping her, give me the cat. So for the next 2 weeks, I was researching everything that you could think of about owning a cat. I spent like 2 weeks trying to decide on the perfect food and litter because I did not want to mess this up. I wanted the perfect experience with having a cat. But when it was finally time for me to get the cat, I cannot describe to you how excited I was to get this little guy. I'll just show you the images, but I had never seen her in person before. I had only seen videos and photos. So when she arrived in this big ass crate, and in that crate you just see like this tiny little donut within. I cannot tell you, like, I was freaking out. Absolutely freaking out. I was just squealing the whole time. Well, I didn't want to scare her, so I was silently like squealing like. So once Trevor dropped her off, I brought her to my room and opened the crate so she could explore the area, get used to her surroundings. But once Trevor left and I was alone with Evie, I felt the entire weight of the world on my shoulders. Of course I knew that raising a kitten wouldn't be the easiest thing in the world, but it really dawned on me. This is it. Like, this is my cat for the next 10 to 16 years. I will have to take care of her. She will move out with me. When I get married, she'll be there at the wedding, I would hope. And like with a future child, she'll still be alive. Like, she is gonna be my best friend for over a decade. Another factor I had not considered was her size. She was so tiny that she could get into any little crevice that I originally didn't think that she could get into because I, cat-proofed the house as much as possible. I also didn't realize that cats were mad flexible. So even when you think they can't fit somewhere, they will just squeeze in. They'll just go right through. Also, the fear of someone stepping on her, kicking her, closing a door on her. I mean, that was so intense in my head. Like, she was so silent. Not only was she tiny, she was silent. And, I'd just be walking and out of nowhere, she's running between my legs and I'm like, oh my god, girl, I'm going to kill you. Please don't do that. But she's a kitten, so what's she gonna do? She doesn't know what I'm saying. She doesn't understand. We ended up getting a collar for her with a little bell on it, which was a hassle in the beginning, but she ended up getting used to it, so it all kind of worked out. So now, let's talk about the first week. So the first night, I slept all right. Not the best. I was kind of just keeping an eye on her, but she was still in her crate sleeping, so, I wasn't too worried for her. Now, the second night, that was a problem. Before I put her to bed, I had to go out to the living room for some reason. I don't remember. But in my head, I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave Evie alone for 5 minutes, okay? 5 minutes, that's all it was. And I heard a sound from the living room and was like, oh crap, she probably dropped something. Well, let me go check on her real quick. So my mom and we went to my room. I opened the door real slowly. And first thing I see is little Evie just, ran up to me, being all cute, rubbing up against my leg. And I was like, oh, let me just give you a little pet. And that was a mistake because there was something warm and wet on her fur. And I look at my hand and it is covered in brown. And that's when I noticed the smell in the room. The smell, well, you can imagine what the smell was like. So I looked over to her litter box, which was kind of in the corner of my room, and there was poop. Just on the walls, on the floor, litter everywhere. I don't know how she, one, got it on the wall, and two, got it on herself. She doesn't roll around in the litter box, so I'm just confused. Not only was I confused, I was upset because it was like midnight or maybe 1 in the morning and I wanted to put her to bed. I wanted to go to sleep. I was so tired. But now, of course, I'm gonna have to bathe her. So that's what I did. We gave her her first bath. And oh my god, that was the most tragic sounding thing ever. Like, my brother was sleeping in the other room and the next day he was like, what were you doing to her in the bathroom? She was just like screaming in agony. And it was so sad hearing it, but we had to do it. She was literally covered in her own poop. So, you know, first night it worked out. She slept in her cage, it was all fine. Second night, I decided to do that again, right? That was a mistake. Again. Well, I woke up very early in the morning. It must have been like 5 or 6. It was super dark. And she was crying. And me being me, I ignored the cries because I thought, oh, okay, like she just wants to get out of the cage and run around. It's super early in the morning. I'm not going to take her out. Like, no. But I should have, because I smelled another smell. I smelled an even worse smell, and I was like, oh my god. Oh my god. It happened again, didn't it? So I went over to the cage, I opened the door, and yeah, she had pooped inside the cage. And of course, got it all over herself, on the towel, everything. That was a mess. So at that point, my whole family, they were asleep, so I wasn't going to wake them up for that. I just had to deal with it on my own. I took Evie, had to give her another bath, literally hours after her first one. Then I had to clean the towel that was just covered in liquid poop, okay? It wasn't a regular poop, liquid, okay? That hurt because not only was I cleaning up poop at like 5 a.m., having like barely any sleep from the night before, but I just felt like a terrible person because I had woke up hearing her cry and I ignored it. Like, if I had just gotten up and went over to her and opened the cage, she would have just ran to the litter box and done her business. But nope. I decided that I preferred my sleep instead. And I stayed in bed, and then after a while, that's when I got up, when I could smell what she's done. That's when I decided, okay, no more cage. She's just gonna run around in my room at night, whatever. Just deal with it. So the third night came along, and after I had decided not to leave her in the cage at night, I just went to bed and had her doing whatever she wanted in my room. And yep, she took advantage of that. She was running around all night, super energetic, having the zoomies. She was jumping onto my desk. I had a drum set in the back here that was like an electric one, so it had a bunch of wires everywhere, and she was using that as a jungle gym. She was gnawing on all the wires and jumping up onto my bed, and because she was so small, she couldn't just jump onto the bed directly. Like, she had to get her claws out and, you know, climb onto my bed. And that wasn't the best thing to wake up to, because it was actually just terrifying. Just in the middle of the night, super dark, something jumps onto you with claws out. Not the best feeling. So after the third night, I was just so frustrated, genuinely so upset. I was crying at 5 a.m. because this cat would not let me sleep, and I need to sleep because I had, what was I doing? I guess I didn't have school because of the pandemic, but I had things to do, you know. I wanted to live my life, maybe. And this cat was not letting me do that. I was just running on like 2 to 3 hours of sleep every night, and I started questioning my decision to get a cat. Like, those 3 nights were really killing me. And I was just, you know, even during the day, I was running around trying to keep up with her because she was just like trying to get behind the fridge, or she was trying to get behind my bed and I can't reach over there. She would gnaw on all the wires. She destroyed 3 of my earbuds. Yes, I had wired earbuds last year, don't at me. So after those 3 nights, I decided, okay, she's not gonna be in the cage. She's not gonna be free roaming in my room while I sleep. She's gotta go somewhere else. So we have like this TV room. I call it the TV room. It's like the second living room, to be honest. And it's right next to my parents' room, and there are like these French doors that can close, right? So I had decided, okay, why don't we just put her in there at night? We'll have her litter box there, her food, her water, toys, everything, and she won't disrupt anyone. And it ended up working perfectly. Like, to this day, that's where she sleeps. One day, I was out with a friend eating at a restaurant, and when I got back home, my mom told me a story about how she thought that Evie ran away. Like, she was looking around the house, could not find her, looked outside, walked around the neighborhood, went to the backyard, didn't see her. Like, she was freaking out, and she almost called me, and thank God she didn't, because I would have been livid. I would have been so upset if she had called me saying that she had lost Evie. While she was looking, she heard a faint meow. It was so quiet that she had thought, oh, she's outside. Let me go look in the backyard again. So she went outside, started looking around, couldn't find her. She went back inside and she heard the meow again, super muffled. So she followed the sound into her room, and she opened the drawer of her nightstand, and Evie was just in there. She had squeezed herself in there, and we could not figure out how. Our only guess is that, like, underneath the nightstand there were like some books or whatever. She had jumped onto the books, and there was like a tiny gap behind the dresser, or behind the nightstand, and she had jumped up into it and squeezed herself into the drawer that was closed. So that's the day that I bought her collar with a bell, by the way. That was the day, because for a while we didn't put a bell on her because I thought, I'm not sure if that's the best idea, if she'll like that. No, after that, had to do it. And that was the best decision that I ever made for her, getting that bell. I could have never imagined in my life that I would end up being the crazy cat lady. But here we are. I had never met a cat so sweet, friendly, and cuddly as Evie, nor did I think a cat like that existed. I'm forever grateful to be given the opportunity to raise her, and I am so thankful that Trevor asked me if I wanted a kitten, knowing how my family felt about cats. I have officially turned into a full-time cat mom, and I love it. Thank you guys for watching my video about Evie. She woke up. But yeah, thank you again for watching my video, and feel free to leave a like, dislike, comment, whatever you want. Honestly, just watching this means the world to me because she means the world to me, and I just wanted to share with everyone how amazing my cat is. So I'm planning to make more videos more often because this is just something I've always wanted to do, you know? And I've been just getting in my own way with nerves and being camera shy, but you know, forget it. We're getting this going, we're getting the channel going, it's gonna be fun. So stay tuned to that. If you want to subscribe, that'd be super cool. I'd love that. Thank you. But before I go, I want to show you Evie. There she is. Oh, you woke up. Why? What happened? All right, Evie, say bye.